Okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you. We'll call the
You're
meeting to order. We'll call the meeting to order for the Parks and Rec Commission on Monday, September 14th, 2020, 6:03. This meeting is taking place, we didn't meet on September 7th, which is we usually meet on the first Monday of each month, but September 7th was Labor Day, so we moved the meeting to today, September 14th. First thing, we'll do the roll call. I think we're a little short, but let's do the roll call anyway. Chairman Vince Foti here. Commissioner Gary DeLello.
Here.
Commissioner Brett Heidel. Commissioner Carolyn Marks. Commissioner Beth Ashbaugh.
Here.
Council member Katie Lepari-Shu.
Hi.
Parks Administrator Lou Lansing.
Here.
And I see Greg's with us. So City Engineer Greg Mattice. He's with us. All right. I don't know how many we have to have for a quorum, but there's 1, 2, 3 of us. I don't think we need one more.
You're a 5-member board, so you're good with 3.
Okay. So I'd like to have a motion. You were sent out the meetings from the last board meeting. I'd like to have a motion to approve those minutes of August 3rd, 2020. Or if anybody has any discussion or want to change anything, please speak up now. Otherwise, we'll take a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve those, Vinnie.
Okay, so Gary DeLello approves. First motion. Any second?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have Beth second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so minutes have been.
Vince,
Yeah.
Vince, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm on I can't get in via my computer, so I'm on my phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Lou.
So Commissioner, I'll mark the record that Commissioner Marks is here.
Okay, good.
You got a late pass from the principal?
Yes, I do. I got a pre-sign.
Uh,
From
I went
Tom
up to the high
Brinley.
school today.
yes,
Yes,
so,
right.
Okay, so we approved the minutes, Carolyn, and I don't know if you had any suggestions for them, but they were approved.
Okay.
I don't see that we had any petitioners. I don't see any other petitioners logged on. So let's just get right to Lou's report. Lou, can you give us the Parks and Administration's report, please?
Well, I sent it to everyone, so I'm going to just buzz down through it because I hope everybody had a chance to look
Sounds
at
good.
it. I want to just
Yes.
I just want to quickly tell you that I've had a little snafu. We put new phones in with the city, and we've had a little snafu with the recreation phone. So if people have told you that they've called me 100 times and I'm not answering their calls, it's because I'm not getting them. But Carrie is on it, and I think we've got it fixed. So if anybody says they can't get me, have them email me. But I think we're pretty close on that. So I guess I had 50 messages that were showing up as no messages on my phone. So
Oh, gee.
yeah. I just wanted to let you all know that we have hired a full-time staff member in the parks, very much needed. We're happy to have Travis Barlow with us. He was a student worker a few years back, part-time, and now he's joined us as full-time, and he knows the park. So it's great for the guys to finally have another person. So I'll talk briefly about this year being the most challenging in my time here, and probably everybody's going to say the same thing. Our 7-year partnership with the YMCA, they did an outstanding, absolutely phenomenal job with the pool and their programming this year. I think the number was 5,094 community members served by our joint programs. And that's pretty amazing. Wilbur Pool had 57 days of, I had originally said 59, we had 57 days, 2 days got canceled, of swimming. 86 children participated in swimming lessons, which was outstanding that we even had. 60 were city residents, 26 non-residents, 25 city resident campers at the YMCA program that ran for 6 weeks. So that was outstanding. My thanks goes, and I'm sure yours too, go to Frank Russo, Michelle Cook, and Danielle Hoyt, and all of their staff at the Y. They may attend our October meeting or beyond the call for October meeting, just to see if you have any questions for them. So, community gardens, the community gardens had a major facelift, and that major facelift was really attributed to improvements and the grant. The grant that the city got, this, I will tell you, the city applied for and obtained the grant through the hard work of Judy Pangman, our community development director. That's not exactly what the Daily Star wrote in their article, so I hope you understand that Judy got that grant. And by the way, Judy was also instrumental in securing a $2,000 grant for the from the United States Tennis Association for the youth tennis program this summer. So Judy's been hard at work for things for the park, grants and opportunities for the park. So I thank her for that. The summer music series is complete. 9 performances. I want to thank Gary Lang and the Outlaws for letting us very welcoming to let us use Demoski. I want to also thank again Carrie Harrington, our deputy city clerk, for her live streaming expertise. She did a phenomenal job. 18,301 minutes, viewing minutes, 305 hours, which comes down to about 13 days of viewing on that, from 27 states and 8 countries. So that's pretty phenomenal. I hope you had a chance to look at those stats. I'm not going to go through priorities because I'm going to leave that to Greg because he's got some updates on some of that. At the bottom, I will tell you the September 2 bike races were canceled. All of our activities, games on field number 6 canceled, and the hot cocoa run has just been canceled. They're going to do a virtual run. So Vince, I don't know if you want me to talk about the decision that we made about field 6 now, or you want to wait till later. What's your choice?
Go ahead. You can go ahead and talk about it.
I will tell you that Greg will vouch for this. I was deeply concerned about opening that field up for games this year. There were so many different restrictions that had to be abided by. I spent about 40 minutes on the phone with Gary Lang. And you know, Gary is a baseball guy, and he's not having baseball. He's not bringing any teams into Demoski. And we talked about a lot of the reasons why, all the challenges with it, being able to track any of your, if someone did contract the virus, being able to track and trace the people that are there. And bottom line, the city did not want to encourage groups of 50 or more in the park. I really felt like having 2 teams of 9 or 10 players, with every team being allowed 2 individuals to attend with them, that already puts us up over 50. So I made the decision. I did talk to Greg about it, but I made the decision that we would not have events there. We couldn't have travel teams anyway because there were no tournament situations, and people saw that baseball is a moderate level risk, so we could have it, but there were a lot of stipulations that go with that. So I hope you know that I took a lot of things into consideration before we made that decision.
Yeah, no, I when I called you, spoke about it. The few people that called me were the parents of the local team that were having to travel to Milford, who was allowing them to have baseball games and to have practices. And I just explained to it just like you did after you explained it to me that, yes, baseball is a moderate level risk, but the city of Oneonta, the mayor, the council, our council, as well as the rec committees, we just thought that given everything that's going on, we'd rather err on the side of precaution rather than have something wrong go. And believe me, it pains me to have to turn away any sports or any activities, or to see basketball. I mean, y'all know basketball hoops or tennis, whatever. But I just told them about Field 6, just as you explained it. And there's after they heard where we were coming from, they were fine with it, and they found a place in Milford. So I think everybody was happy. So
I think a lot of organizations were asking me because so many of them had their places canceled. So we certainly were not in the minority of canceling our facility. And in light of what's happened recently, I am very comfortable with that decision that we made.
Absolutely. That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question? And I hope that this isn't in the material somewhere and I missed it. All of the events and like permit fees and things that the rec department usually takes in, and this year.
Maybe I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay. All right. Hang on one second. Okay.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
No, I was having a hard time also.
Okay. Damn it. Let me call it.
Hey, Brett.
How you doing, Beth?
I'm doing all right.
You look pretty comfortable right there, let me tell you.
I'm actually just like staring at the screen going, boy, my face is really red right now.
Well, I can't see any of you. I can only hear you.
Well, Caroline, you look beautiful, let me just tell you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
As always.
I know. I look at that screen. I look at that screen and I get scared. Oh,
I know, me too.
gosh.
I'm like, who is that old woman looking at you?
Okay, you guys are very sweet for your patience. So I just wanted to ask Lou about, because we have to cancel so many things this year, what are the financial impacts on the rec department? Like, what do those fees, I guess, usually go to? And, is there going to be any sort of negative impact?
I'm not sure. Greg may have to answer that. I'm not sure where the
Okay.
fees go to the city. I'm not sure.
As far as I understand, they just go back to the general fund. Obviously that'll be down this year.
Gotcha. Okay.
We are
I couldn't tell you.
refunding.
I'd have to ask Ginny to ultimately give us a report on the difference from
Right.
2020 to 2019.
We are refunding even application fees, Katie. So
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
and everything is refunded. So
Okay. Ginny is giving us on the council some reports, so it's probably just in there and hasn't been itemized out for us to see. So, but that's good to know that it goes into the general fund. Thanks, Greg. And thank you, Lou.
thank you, Greg.
And thanks everybody for waiting.
Lou, do we have any other park use or events that are kind of waiting in the wing between now and the end of 2020? Or are we pretty much, is this it as far as requests for use of any facilities?
The hot cocoa run was the last major event that we had.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
a year in and year out event. And I just called her and talked to her this week. So the only other things we have is, of course, the yoga class may still be going on. But no, we don't have any other events.
Okay.
And then Lou, I just have one other question. So for the community gardens, which seem to be popular and a great success, are those? Do we have a lot of folks from that are non-city residents that participate?
We do have some town residents that participate in that. Yes.
A lot, or I mean,
I don't know what the breakdown is, Vince. The clerks takes those applications, so I don't usually see them. But I
Yeah.
can certainly find out for the next meeting for you.
No, just curious. I mean, if space is and again, maybe it's not even an issue. Of course, we want to welcome everybody.
Mhm.
But as these events become more popular and I don't even know what it is that we charge. Do we charge?
Well, and just so you know, city residents are charged $25 for a regular plot.
Yeah.
Non-residents are charged, I believe the fee is $50.
Okay.
And city residents can apply about 2 weeks before non-residents.
Okay.
So they get the jump anyway, even not just returners, but any new city residents.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Are you all okay with us, city residents, we want to allow to garden in the fall?
Sure.
Because a bunch of them want to plant some garlic, and garlic is a crop that has to be planted now and it needs a growing season in next July. And I guess that was a question the clerk's office had. Are you all okay with that if we move forward with that? And I don't know if you need a motion or whatever.
I don't have a problem with it. I'll let everybody else speak up. I mean, anybody else have a problem with that?
No, not at all.
Well, what kind of garlic? That's,
That I don't know. The kind that grow in the ground, I don't know.
Well, I just discovered there's like a bunch of garlic varieties that are grown in the area. So there's a unadilla garlic and like all kinds of stuff.
I don't know, Beth, but I am certain the gardeners could educate you on that. I am certain.
Probably. I really should look them up.
All right. Well, Beth, that can be your assignment to find out what kind of garlic they're actually planting down there.
With your ash ball, what kind of garlic you put?
So I don't think we need a motion. I mean,
Okay.
if we do, if somebody wants to make a motion, that's okay for them to continue on in the fall to plant garlic. Go ahead. Feel free to make the motion. Somebody second it, and we can be on our way here.
I move it.
All right. So anybody second?
I'll second.
Gary, nice Italian boy, likes his garlic.
He likes
Seconds it.
garlic. I know.
I love garlic knots.
That doesn't surprise me.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the report. Let's get right down to Greg. Go down to old business. If you be so kind to share all your thoughts and visions and where we are in some of the prioritized items, that'd be great.
Sure. This week we've got the pickleball court project in progress. All the posts are in for the fence down in Niwa for the new pickleball fence. I think tomorrow or the next day they'll be putting in the net posts. And then we'll have Nagel Athletic here sometime in the next couple of weeks to do the resurfacing there, as well as up at Wilbur for the tennis courts and the new basketball court. New basketball hoops are here. They haven't been installed yet. I've got to coordinate with the contractor to get those installed. We want to put those in first before we resurface, but that project should be all done probably by the end of the first week in October if I had to.
Wow, great.
But yeah, it's great. I mean, we're ready to go for next year. Basketball can be played again, hopefully, and ball and tennis are ongoing now, which is great. So it's good. I'm glad we were able to get that done this year.
Those are two more things we can check off the parks priority list: the community gardens upgrade and resurfacing. Well done, Greg.
Thank you. I'm gonna send it back at Lou. Well done on her part in coordinating with Cobleskill and also with DEC regarding Hodges Pond reclamation. She's been doing a lot of work on that, and it's really pushed this along. And we're to the point now we've had a couple of meetings. Been on site with DEC and SUNY Cobleskill last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago now, Lou?
Yeah, a couple weeks I think now, but.
We're excited. We're going to be able to have a partnership there where we can get some students involved as well as DEC and city to, what we'll end up doing is draining down the pond. The students are going to work with us to collect the fish and relocate them, or probably relocate them all to the mill race. It sounds like at that point we'll be restocking it when we get back to it. But by draining it down, we'll be able to dredge it and make it deeper, which is going to help the health of the pond long-term. We're going to take that section that's right near the road there by Lou's building and fill that in just slightly to get it, 10, 12 feet back from the road, so it's not so close. Hopefully we won't have another mower go in there in the future. And, that is just the timing we're not sure on because of the COVID situation with SUNY Copelskill. They can't do any field trips or have any lab work like that. This fall, certainly, possibly in the spring. And if the spring doesn't work out, probably fall next year. If I had to guess, probably isn't going to happen until fall of next year, but there's a chance we can do it in the spring.
Exactly.
So we're looking forward to getting that done. I think that'll be a nice project.
The DEC and Cobleskill have been very helpful, very willing to help us with all of that. And I have a question for Vince before we move on. Sorry to interrupt, Greg.
Go ahead.
Vince, you're a local guy and you've been here a little while. You're about 29 now. So do you know what organization built Hodges Pond?
I do not.
Okay,
do not.
it's on the National Registry. It's a historic place. The D&H Railroad originally built Hodges Pond, and it next year is 100 years in operation.
Wow.
So next year is a 100-year anniversary. We're going to do something special for it.
Yeah, that'll be good. Can
We're gonna ice skate on it?
No ice skating, Gary. Don't start with me.
That would be special.
So Greg, do you think all the fish you're going to take out of there can fit in the mill race?
I think they'll plug it up.
I mean, Jesus, there's so many fish in there. I mean, we've been. I mean, I'm 60 years old, and the fishing derby we've been catching and releasing for like the last 59 years. There's got to be so many fish in there.
Yeah, we'll be starting fresh.
All right.
Let's see what else is going on. So on Lou's list here, the Ethel Scatcherd Memorial. We've got a stonemason, local stonemason who's going to do that work this fall, make some repairs there. I think that's about it for this fall. I see.
Greg, that stone memorial project, will the improvements include a fountain? I think it was supposed to be like a water fountain of some sort.
Yeah, no, these are just masonry improvements, just to kind of.
Okay, just masonry. Okay.
Yeah. Is there a strong desire to have that be a fountain again by everyone? I mean,
I don't.
Where
I
it's
don't
fed
know.
from? I don't know if it's still hooked up at all.
I doubt that most people even knew it was a fountain at any time. I'm not even
Yeah.
sure the family did. I just found that out from doing a lot of research. So
Yeah, so I think at this point we're just going to do the masonry repairs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, back on the pickleball courts. So when our pickleball courts are complete, so will that? I'm not 100% familiar with the sport. Will our participants, will our constituents be able to just walk down to Niwa Park and play? There's no equipment set up or anything like that. They don't have to set up the nets. They don't have to set up the
Right.
fencing. It's all
exactly,
just right there.
just like tennis, you bring your
Yeah.
racket and your
Right.
or your paddle and your ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I
That'll
mean, those are major checkoffs. I mean, to check these things off for how long it takes. It's not just takes some time to do these things, but they are when you can check them off as completed. You joke about it, but it is a major accomplishment, or it is a big step on the direction where we're trying to make the parks the best the best that we can. So
Yeah.
that's why I thought with the community gardens, if there's so popular, is there any other places in the park where you could expand and make a community garden?
I think actually I was contacted by, I think she's in high school, a girl who was looking to do some sort of a project. I'm not sure if it was a Girl Scouts thing or what it was, but it was on Valley View Street or on 5th Street near Valley View Street. Where the hospital has their parking lot there. There's some old houses that the hospital knocked down at some point they purchased, and they're just vacant lots now. And she was looking to start a community garden there.
Oh,
not a city-run thing. She was doing it on her own.
Yeah.
She was asking about a water source, but I drove by there once or twice and see that there's some plots set up. I don't know how that works, if it's just a neighborhood thing or, so there might be some interest in that. Maybe there's, I mean, that seems like a good spot for it. I'm not sure what the hospital has, what their plans are. In the
Yeah.
I know she had permission.
It doesn't surprise me that not a youngster, but the youth, coming up to the ranks, they are very, sustainability and growing your own food and having fresh vegetables and trying to, they're very interested in that. So, that doesn't surprise me. I guess how old was she?
I'm trying to remember. I can't. She was
A high school student. Yeah.
Maybe younger even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But let's see. So the basketball court lighting in Niwa, not that it's the best time for it, but that should be done in the next, I don't know, probably a few weeks to a month.
Yeah.
The street lighting upgrade project, they're going to replace those lights. Obviously won't be able to play basketball there until we get the hoops back up, but it'll be ready to go for any kind of dusk to dark hour play. Let's see. Oh,
so will the lights go off at a certain time? The park, I mean, will they stay on all throughout the night?
I think right now they're not on photo cells, but they could be.
Oh, it's fine.
I think those are most of the lights in the park stay on all night. They're just right off the electric service. Maybe that'll be a problem.
Vinny wants to have a little midnight madness down there.
You need something there, boy, I'll tell you.
Well, I think once we get back to where all sports are considered, safe to play, it will be, you're going to see a lot of activity booming in the beginning anyway. So, but we just got to be ready to go when all that happens. That's all.
Agreed.
Esky Field, that project is pretty much complete. We added on having them rehabilitate the infield. They're going to redo all the base paths and all the edges of the turf or the grass around all those base paths in the infield, smooth out the edges so you don't have those lips. And I think Clark Companies is going to start that possibly next week, but no later than the end of this month. So we'll have that done this fall.
Are they still going to bring the fence in, Greg?
Well, we've been talking about that. I know Gary Lang was all about that. There's just no funding for that at this point, but that's definitely still high on their priority list. That wasn't ever part of the original phase 1 project. I know Gary kind of brought that up late in the game. But I've been working with Lee Merigliano, the architect that we used on that project, to come up with our master plan for Damasky that's going to show what we want our phase 2 or potential future phases to look like. I think at some point there's just going to have to be a conversation. How do we come up with the money for these sort of improvements we're looking at? And we'll bring it to this committee and talk about, among all the different pieces we'd like to add on there, what are our priorities? What do we like most and least? And maybe at some point there will be some sort of fundraising campaign in the future, or the city looks for another grant. But right now there's no funding identified, but there's a lot of interesting, really cool ideas. And I look forward to bringing that to this committee probably another month or so and talk over that.
Greg, so phase 1 for Damasky Field, was all the money that was earmarked for that, has that all been used then for phase 1 at this point? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. The city got a $1 million grant basically,
right.
And then the city spent an additional about $100,000 just over that city general fund
over
the project
over the initial grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's always nice to have you attend our meetings because you bring a lot of information. It's always nice to know where we stand with things. Appreciate your time, Greg.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
See you. All right. Do we, I think does anybody have any new business? Okay.
Greg, you want to talk to them about the thing that I sent them, yeah?
You want to talk now about the memorial
Sure.
benches?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Is that the
So-
thing that Jim Maloney sent in?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
top of Maple Street Park, or top of Maple Street at Maple Street Park, there are two benches there now. One of them is a memorial bench that was another family member related to Jim Maloney that his family donated, I think in 2014. There's a bench across from that. It's just a plain bench, an older style, and he'd like to replace that with another memorial bench for another family member that passed away. The issue is, in 2015, I think when Martin Murphy was here as city manager, the policy for memorial bench donations was updated, and the policy says that you can only have a maximum of 2 lines of text, 30 characters per line, and you can't have any. The intent is not to be a memorial marker where it would have birth and death dates. So that's specifically not allowed per the policy. However, the existing bench in Maple Street Park is exactly that. It has 5 lines of text and it has a birth and death date. There's other examples throughout the city, like on Main Street, there's at Muller Plaza, there's a bench that has a plaque on it that has 4 lines of text. And it seems just kind of nitpicky to limit the number of lines of text. I think the plaques being all 4 inches by 12 inches, that can be our standard. And I think really whatever amount of text someone might want to have on it that fits is probably fine. The policy says that the city engineer and the Parks and Rec Commission have to approve the location of memorial bench, and that new benches will only go in city parks, not on Main Street, because the city at the time didn't want any more benches on Main Street, but someone could donate money to basically dedicate a particular bench that's already there on Main Street as a memorial. And then the Parks and Rec Commission has to approve the language that's on the plaque. So you can't just put anything. It's got to be something that's appropriate. So any application for memorial bench comes here. That's what I sent to you. It was only an hour or so ago. I'm not sure who might have seen it, the actual application, but basically maybe I'll bring that up now and just share it with you by my screen so you can see what the language is.
I mean, the language it's Rita Ann Wellman, artist, benefactor, friend, 1938 to 2020. Right, which, again, I think the standard or the parameters for which somebody that wants to have a bench or a plaque or participate in that program, just what you just said is the size of the plaque. So whatever you want to squeeze in there as far as the verbiage goes, I don't have a problem, especially because this isn't, the cost to do this, it's about $2,000, right? The person has to come up with $2,000. It's not like they're giving us $100 and we're absorbing all the costs. I mean, it's like a $2,500 donation on their part, which I feel like we should accommodate them. They're paying customers, in other words. So if they want to have an extra line and it can fit in between our 4-inch or 6-inch plaque that goes on every bench, I really don't see a problem with it.
And as far as the birth and death dates, I don't know why that was originally excluded when it is a memorial bench. But do you have any concern about that?
No, I mean, to me, that'd be something that if somebody donated something, the first thing that goes through my mind is who is the person, or how old are, just any little information. I think is useful for somebody that's going there and sitting down and looking at the bench. I don't know what the feeling or thought was behind the date and birth and the date of birth and the passing of the person. Again, I don't know. I think it seems fine to me. And the fact that somebody else has already done it in on Main Street, unless somebody else has any thoughts or feelings about that.
Okay. I will then, I'll look to update the policy. I think I might have to get the council to pass, updated policy, which is no big deal. It just takes a little time. So we can go ahead with this one.
Okay.
Again, the location there's 2 benches now. One of them is not a memorial bench. It's an older bench, one of those wooden slats and the concrete supports. I think we just replace that with a nice new bench. It's already got the concrete pad for it, and it's what Jim Maloney would like. So
yeah, so like you say, you're putting a new bench in the place of an old bench, so it's improving what's there now. So again, just trying to use common sense, I guess. I would say I don't see a problem with it unless anybody else has a problem with it or has some comments. I'd say let's go forward with it.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, very good.
I'll carry on.
All right, thanks a lot. So that was all the piece of new business. Anybody have anything else? Questions, concerns, comments? If not, to have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion, Vinny.
All right, Gary makes the motion to adjourn at 6:40. Second,
I'll second the motion.
okay, Beth will second it. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, meeting adjourned.